around Liberia. And interestingly, I thought that this is the time for us to make our New Year's resolution. I thought this is the time where you will have Liberians thinking about what better for their future for the next year. Because, of course, once you have a better planning, you just click live. The light is off. It's gone off. So once you have a better planning, obviously you have a better you have a better year. There's a huge possibility that when you plan better, your life will be better because of course you will have um the right time, the right thing to do, you'll have the right schedule, you'll have the right time to do it. And if you don't plan better, is it okay now? I'm not seeing it here. The unfortunate thing, if you don't plan better for the year, well, sometimes you'll be doing things over and over. Sometimes you won't have the right schedule, you won't have the time, the right time to do what you're supposed to do. So these are things that we would think that people will actually be thinking about by this time. Like, okay, where did I have deficit during this year? Where did I have shortcomings? What did I do that did not fulfill my plans for 2024? How can I, augment my plans for 2025? But unfortunately, as the year ends, as the year draws to an end, we are seeing more devastation. We are seeing more disheartening things happening in Liberia, which, for some of us, it creates a negative feeling about what our prospect for 2025. Because if by now we should be planning 2025 to be a pretty good year, it should start from what we think today, how we're going to approach it today, what we do today, and so forth. So this is the unfortunate thing for some of us. But however, we have to talk about it. We have to talk about all of the things that are going on in the country right now. Basically pertaining to the legal aspect of it. And that's why we deal with, for me, I come here and I talk about the legal aspect of things. I don't know whether when people are engaging or indulging themselves into certain things, they really, think about the legal aspect of it, or they just, just do it with the understanding that, well, anything that happens, it happens. So today on our legal hour, commonly called legal discussion with Councillor Saryon on Freedom FM 87.9. We will be talking about domestic violence in Liberia. We will be talking about mob violence. We will be talking about the legal implications these things have on our nation, as well as the social implication it has on us, on our economy, the economic implications it's going to have. And we overlook a lot of these things, but we are the same people that sit at the back and then we complain that Liberia is so undeveloped, Liberia is not developed, investors are not coming in, this is not going on, that is not going on. But yet and still we use our hands to destroy the little that we have, and in destroying the little that we have, literally driving out those that have the intent or providing more for us, or creating the atmosphere wherein we can provide more for ourselves. We literally try to push them out by our actions. So as you hear the people who say actions speak louder than words, and these are the things that we're going to talk about today. So I think it was last week, something so disheartening happened in the country, shocked a lot of us. We have had various accounts of what happened, but at the end of it all, we know that a young beautiful lady lost her life. um we were informed that there's this guy called Jala. I think his name should be Jala. He was going out with this lady, from all of the information that we got on social media from friends and families and close relatives. We saw that beautiful lady. Her name is Princess. Princess was going out with this guy. Um, no matter what happened, I think people try to give a softer explanation to that situation and talked about what actually transpired between the both of them. They talked about princess princess being in love with this guy, or this guy being in love with princess. I think it's not just love, it was obsession. I think he was obsessed with princess, because this man, from what we learned, was married. He was married with children. He was a pastor, a man of God, or whatever position he had in the church. And he had all of those things going for him, but he lost his ministerialship uh, position when he started, when the church got to know he was mingling and in some sort of entanglement with the late princess. May her soul rest in peace. So, from what we heard, he was excommunicated. I think he was let out of the church. And I'm only giving you accounts that I read or I saw people talk about on social media. I'm not giving you any account that I got from any family members. So if these accounts are not 100% factual, please get the facts from the family members. But the actual thing that I want to talk about was the violence that happened. So Princess said she didn't want this man, regardless of whether she had another relationship or whatever the case is. She didn't feel secure any longer in a relationship with this person. So she decided that she was going to leave. I don't want this relationship any longer. I don't want you. I think we have reached to the point where you can go your way. I can go my way. Maybe we can remain friends. When I see you, I say hi. You see me, you say hi. Relationship, love is not false. There's nothing, forceful about love. So you can go your way. And for some reason, he didn't take it well. He was like, no, I'm not going to do that. As far as I'm concerned, you are mine. When you come to that point where someone is saying, you are mine, you belong to me and no one else, I can never allow you to go. So for me, I think that's the kind of thing that triggers in someone's brain, and then they go to the extreme. And we saw the good thing was that he was arrested, but that beautiful lady lost her life. It happened in an entertainment center. Oh my God. And in the presence of relative and people who went there to amuse themselves. And so he was taken to court recently. I think it was a day or two. We saw that he was taken to court, and after which he was taken to the Monrovia Central Prison. It doesn't mean that the case is over, of course. He's going to be taken to court, and hopefully Princess can get justice. Okay, then we just yesterday we came to early morning, heard another devastating news again, of someone that wasn't just on news. We saw on video, and that incident reminded me of another incident that happened around the same area on that same Somalia Drive, when it was the election period. I remember that day I was again looking at social media where human beings took stones. At least this time, it's not even at least, because it's not something that should be done in the first place. People took stones and stone a person to death. Okay. Oh, sorry. People took stones and stone a person to death. Hmm? The person calling? Can't say. And stone someone to death. That was not the first time. For me, when I saw what happened again 2 days ago, or a day ago, it just reminded me of that particular incident where you have people standing around, other people were around, and then you had someone or some group of people who felt aggrieved for whatever reason, political reason, and they took stone and saw this guy. He went down to the floor. He became weak. They kept beating him, kept taking stones and throwing the stones at him until that guy died. What happened from that situation to today's date? I want to believe there were no arrests made. There were no one was called, interrogated, investigation were never open because for some reason people felt like, oh, it was election time. So, well, election time, anything that happened, you lose your life once it is not in the interest of other people. Well, that's just it. Now it has spilled over, and I see a lot of people yesterday, the day before, they came on social media and then they try to castigate, they try to castigate what happened. When you look at the reason, when you start to look at the reason why people do these awful things, and you don't say a word because that reason did not suit you, and then you come on the other side because this time around you want peace, you want stability. In fact, this other death, to you, it is gruesome. But the other one was gruesome as well. Somebody's life was taken and nothing happened. I mean, everyone pretended like, it was just business as usual. That's a normal thing. One or two persons came up to talk about it, and people just walk and they just let it go. So we are breeding young people that believe that when you are aggrieved, regardless whether someone stole from you, whether it is a political issue, whether it is just something like your heart is hurt, this is the kind of young generation we are breeding, telling them that it is okay that when you are hurt, because a reason is attached to that, you should go to the extreme and kill another person. That's exactly what we did. Because some of us sat down, we talk about it, we condemned it, we expected politicians, community leaders, other people to come and condemn it because it's wrong to take someone's life or because of what they choose. This time around, it is theft, according to those that were there, alleged theft. And then we use the same media. So it means that we have seen this as our normal way of dealing with things. When we feel hurt, when we feel aggrieved, we resort to violence. That's the only way we can do things. So it's not only outside. Of course, we kill people outside. Then we go in the household. If a woman doesn't want us or a man doesn't want us, we take something, we kill the person because, well, my way has to be my way. There is something on our law called premeditated murder. And while our penal code captures a lot of the activities or inactivities that we do that lead us to, felony and misdemeanor and all of those things, today I want for us to talk about murder and what makes a particular act of murder. And sometimes you hear people talk about manslaughter. Oh, it was manslaughter. It was not murder. What is the distinction between murder and manslaughter? Because they both of them going to carry you to jail. Both of them, they are crimes. And when we start to attach the actual meaning and the actual penalty to these things when they happen, maybe, just maybe, it will, create an atmosphere where people value human life over property or over other things. And there's two spectrums to this thing. On the other side, you have law enforcement officers that should be enforcing the law, because the law is one thing that is on the paper. And it's another thing for this law to be enforced. Catching the criminal is the beginning of the law enforcement. Investigating the person. If you find that person, you have a cause or probable cause that that person committed that offense, forwarding the person to court. And if you have law enforcement in the country broken down, of course you will have disorganization and order will never be in place. That's the reason why you call it law and order. Order will never be in place. And it is when our law enforcement people start to overlook one crime for another. That's when you see all of these things crept into society. And it becomes so big now, at some point, we cannot even withstand. We cannot withstand what happens. And we don't even know even how to give it a meaning any longer because it's going out of hand. It has gone far. A lot of us will sit down and we will embrace it if it suits our situation. Some of us will remain mute. We won't say anything about it because what? Well, the person I happen to, the person is a known or notorious thief. But that's why they call it mob violence. Under the law is there so that when these things happen, people are apprehended and taken to court and given justice. But when you have a breakdown, you won't have something like this happening. What you will have to would be that people will resort to violence. Violence is never the way forward. Let me tell you something. I said this on the radio before, and I'm going to say this again. Before I come to what is murder and what is manslaughter. And all of the cases that has been ongoing, what we see in them and what we can call on our courts and our law enforcement officers to enforce to the letter so that it can serve as a deterrent for these things to not happen again. I remember years ago, there was a neighbor of mine whose brother was working somewhere around the port in a private security firm. And he had his 3 shifts. He was on the second shift. He had a girlfriend somewhere around Freeport, on the other side. I'm just forgetting how to call this community. He went to work. I think I said this on this radio before. And when he was coming from work, he called this girlfriend. And prior to him leaving work, when he talked to her, she said, "Oh, no problem. You can pass to the house. I'm home." But later did she know that another guy who she was dating as well was going to come to her house unannounced. So this guy, when he reached there, because he was walking, when he reached to this lady's house, he knocked at the door and everything, and she couldn't open the door for him. Imagine now this guy is coming from work sometimes around 3 o'clock in the morning. So, well, he got all his big jacket and thing on him because obviously he's coming from work. So he had his jacket and thing on him. When he knocked, she couldn't open. So he decided, well, that he was just going to walk until he can get on the road and he can see how he can get a vehicle to go to his destination. Before he could reach on the road, he heard roar, the angry crowd running behind someone. And this guy who's just walking with his bag in his hand and everything, they came and descended on this guy. They beat this man and killed him. Later, did they know that the actual person they were running behind, he got away. And they came and saw this guy. They couldn't distinguish between the two persons. They didn't even look to see whether there was a distinguishing factor. And they just beat this guy and killed him in this country. While his sister is sitting home waiting on him. While his work is waiting on him to go the next day for his shift. No one knew where he were until people started talking about the community that they killed the guy and other things. Then the girlfriend now was able to identify him the next day. All because of mob violence. And this is it. This is the same thing that's going on every day. So that thing happened at that time. No one was arrested. No one was prosecuted. No one was held accountable for that murder or that manslaughter or whatever you want to call it. Everyone did what they could do. They murdered. They had blood on their hands. They murdered someone and they walk away scot-free. From that day to this date, I mean, I'm talking about years ago, I'm telling you that If you check the amount of murders that have taken place, people intentionally killing other people and framing it and making it to look other ways, it's a lot. And if you check how many times you have gotten, especially when as it relates to mob violence, if you check how many times you've gotten people even being arrested for mob violence, I can't tell you that it's even half of the cases that have transpired. So, to our law enforcement officers, for some reason, I am saying this, for some reason, I think you guys have been so relaxed, so lax as it relates to mob violence and these things. And it's getting prevalent in our society because of your lackness. What is a murder? Under our Penal Code, chapter 14, verse 1, it says a person is guilty of murder if he, A, purposely or knowingly cause the death of another person. Purposely or knowingly, that's what it says, premeditated. Purposely or knowingly, one. The first thing you should have a malice. The next thing you should have the opportunity. And the next thing you should have the means to do it. Once you have that malice, you have that opportunity, you have the means, and you execute it, is a murder. No one should tell you, oh, that manslaughter, they will not get a man this time. No, it's a murder. The second thing that they said, B, a person is guilty of murder if he causes the death of another human being under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to the value of human life. A rebuttal presumption that such indifference exists arouses if the defendant is engaged or is an accomplice in the commission or an attempt to commit or flight after committing or attempting to commit treason offenses defined in blah, 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 blah. That is, you come now, you see espionage, felonious restraint, arson, rape, aggravated involuntary sodomy. So in the process of doing all of these things and the person die, the state consider that as a what? Murder. This is what they're talking about. You become so indifferent to someone's life. Some of you in your homes, the beating, small thing you beat the woman, small thing you beat the child, not even just the woman. Some of your children are living in your houses, they are living in fear. And some of you are the same ones that are sitting on social media and opening your mouths today. So because you feel like your own sin is behind closed door, it hasn't reached the point where someone has reported you or you are being arrested. So because that has not happened, you think it's okay. Another man who went to the extreme of taking knife. Can you imagine you ask someone for you guys to go and have a talk at a place? This person trusted you. It came there vulnerable. And then you took knife and stabbed this woman to death? What should hurt a person so much that it should lead you in something like this? And this is the penalty for murder according to our laws. Murder is a felony of the first degree, but a person convicted of murder may be sentenced to death or life imprisonment as provided in section 50.5, 51.3. So it depends what you did. You may be sentenced to death. We know, well, the death penalty has not been practiced in Liberia for many, many years, but it does not mean that it has been abrogated. On our laws, in the books, the death penalty still exists because of, obviously, this is the law I'm reading, except this law was amended yesterday. I don't know about it. But you can go to jail for the rest of your life. That's what you call life imprisonment. And the funny thing is that you hear people saying, oh, forget that man, when the man goes so bitch after 5 6 years, people forget, but put him also. Can you imagine? This is how we see our justice system. This is how we see our correctional system. Someone telling you if the man goes to jail after 5 6 years, they will put him outside. And that man gets outside, because obviously if the court pronounced that that man should be in jail for the rest of his life, and you go ahead and put the man outside, like what sometimes it is alleged that can happen at the prison center. I don't know whether it's true, but sometimes they will tell you, oh, they can put a person outside in the net, depending on the person's status in society. They will put them outside in the net and they tell them, come back in the morning and report yourself. The same thing happens to police stations. And then when the person come back in the morning and report themselves, then they put them in the cell. Then the next day, according to people that have gone through it, I don't know, I just hear about it. But what if they put that person outside and the same thing, angry crowd, mob violence, the person go back into the society, and the next thing that happens, the person gets killed? Have you served justice? Have you brought in order? You have not, because you have just made that person vulnerable because of the crime they committed previously. And we don't see all of those things. So this is the penalty for murder. Those are you that small thing, you can let it go. You can hold things in as if to say, you the person you are not born together. Even if you are twin, you are born together, you won't have the same understanding of things. You won't have the same relation. You will have differences. Does that mean you should inflict bodily harm on this person? No. When you are angry, walk away. Walk, go somewhere, cool off, whatever the case is. You want to come back, you come back. You don't want a relationship, don't come back. Leave the relationship. And this is a warning it should be a warning to women out there. Anytime you tell a man, I'm done, when he tells you, oh, let's have a meeting, let's sit and let's talk about something, don't go there. Save yourself. Because this man is trust that carried this girl for many years. They were lovers. It's trust that carried this girl to this man, to that entertainment. It's a broad area. So it just shows that you can't even say, I trusted a man because we're going to a broader setting. No. What is happening to our country? And because of what happened to the motorcyclists, I see a lot of people now condemning it. What happened when it happened during the political season? Why didn't you come out to condemn it? Is it like lives during political season is less of a value than when it is done during other seasons? Should we start to put a price tag on life? Anyway, I just talked about murder. Let's go to 14.2. Let's talk about manslaughter. A person is guilty of manslaughter if he recklessly causes the death of another person. That means sometimes some people can say it was by mistake. Take, for instance, you have two persons arguing, and the other person, they pushing one another chest. Oh, my man move for you, you go push the other man, the man slip, and he fall down. And he maybe hit his head and he died. That is manslaughter. It's your recklessness that caused that person to die. That's just an example I'm giving. Then the B to that is it causes the death of another person being under circumstances which would be murder, except that he causes the death under the influence of extreme emotional disturbance by which there is reasonable excuse. And this one now is for lawyers to argue that. Some lawyers, you'll hear to say, oh, the man were under extreme circumstances. The man's mental state wasn't working well because of X, Y, Z. Well, I mean, you would have to go bring psychologists and people to prove it, that the circumstances under which he was. You're proving it so that they can hold him for manslaughter. So they can hold him for, it doesn't mean you're proving it so he can walk scot-free. No. So these are things for us to listen to. You want to throw your entire life away because you are angry in 2 minutes. They say manslaughter is a felony of the second degree. So if you look in the law, you'll see that felony of the second degree, I think you get up to 10 years imprisonment. Or between 10 to 25 years imprisonment. Something between that. I don't have it in my hand right now. So then you come down now to other instances where you have negligent homicide. Then you have assault and battery. You have endangering behavior. You have threat. Aggravated assault. You have simple assault. You have all of those things here. Causing and aiding suicide. All of those things, you have them under the law, which we will deal with in another time. But today, I just want for us to deal with these two things that have become so prevalent in our country. People see it's so easy to take other people's lives. Somebody does something to you, the next day, your action just in less than 5 minutes. Look, I saw that video with that other guy looking at this person lying down on the floor already weak. He's not moving. All you could do at that moment was cuff him and take him to the police. But you took a huge rock and smashed this man's head with it. How wicked can you be? How heartless can you be? And the thing is on video. But unfortunately, if you ask right now, they'll say the police has not effected any arrest yet. And then you asking why these things are getting prevalent in our society? Because there is no means in which we are putting to curtail these things. We're not curtailing it. We're not trying to eliminate these things, which I know crimes cannot be eliminated anyway. I don't care how you try. In the great countries, you still have crimes. But it is curtailed because of the punishments attached to them. Because of the corrections that we have for them, for people that indulge in these things in society. But something happened, the first 12 hours, no arrest is being made. The next 24 hours, no arrest. And you will not say, we don't know the people, because there are videos through which you can go into those videos and you will see the actual person who's committing the crime. You will see them. The same thing with videos from before. Now technology has made it so easy where you can start your investigation from. Technology has made it easy. Before then, our forefathers, they conducted investigation. More often was just based on hearsay. They say this person or this and that. These days, these are things that you see with your own eyes. You see the person committing a crime. There are videos all circulating the internet. And up to this time, we have not heard of any arrest being made or any investigation that has been open or is being conducted, or I don't know how many hours have passed. You just have videos, people just having videos all over the place. And then we just look. Do you think it's just condemning these things with our mouths 24/7? That's what going to solve the problem? People talk about, I saw on social media, someone said, oh, let us put CCTV camera on at all intersections and other things. It's not a bad thing to do. Because of course, civilized society, please check the video. Civilized society, this is what they are doing. They are putting CCTV footage, videos all over the place. But it's okay. All right. But now we have telephone videos. When these things are happening, you have videos, you have documentary evidence, you have pictorial evidence, you have all of these things that you can use. So you don't have to wait for CCTV camera to come first. When you have people on the scene now already publishing these things on social media so that you see and get to know that these things are happening and why and how they are happening. So what are you doing? The little that you have, you are not even using the little effectively. And then you say they should give you the bigger one before you can be able to work effectively. This is really, really bad. To see our country degenerating into these things, it's really, really bad. It's really bad. It's extremely bad. I don't care what happened. Princess did not deserve to die the way she died. This was a young lady that was so much looking forward to the next year. Her life was cut short by someone. How many of us have taken anything to even talk about it? How many times should you have people on the street talking about things against domestic violence before we get to know that these things are happening. Look, this is our country. The laws that I read are our laws. These are our own laws in this country. No one will come to this country and do for us what we ought to do for ourselves. Other people, we enjoy going to the countries. The places are safe. You walk. There are some countries you go to, you walk 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Nobody's disturbing you. It's because of law and order. That's not magic. Law and order is the reason. But if you come, you don't want to do anything in your country. The first thing, they were all behind us here the last time for fire extinguisher. But I can't tell you how many times police stopped my car for fire extinguisher. Oh, fire extinguisher, fire extinguisher. Of course, I got fire extinguisher in my car. You didn't have to tell me to buy it. I bought it and put it in my car myself. Because I know it is needed. They will hear car on fire in red light. Even the fire truck didn't have fire extinguisher in the truck. So they had to take the poo water and put it in the car. Then the car itself. So for all the time you guys were running behind us. So commercial vehicles were not part of it. The car itself did not have fire extinguisher. So they had to use the poo water from the truck to put it in the car. Imagine they will say to clean that car at the end of the day. But imagine how many persons are going to sit in. You myself don't even know that car. So people wanted to get from one place to the other. The next thing they're going to sit in a shade for a very long time. No sickness, no diseases. That's what they're going to be sitting in. Is that car supposed to even be plying the street of Liberia anymore? But what happened? Was the car impounded? Were it taken into police custody for whatever reason? Public safety? You know? No, there's nothing we know about that. I mean, well, I don't know how much we can talk about all of these things every day. Every time we come here, we talk about these things. (086) 500 104 0776 104 104 (086) 500 104 0776 104 104. Today is the last Monday in the year 2024. And it is for us to meditate on what we want our lives to be for the years to come. Let us think about it. Is this how we want to continue in this country? Is this how we want to keep living? When we go to other people's country, we feel so good. We feel so good. Call out your name and where you calling from. Call out your name and where you calling from.
Good afternoon,
Okay, good afternoon. Make your point.
Dr. Kevin, thank you so much for providing insight. These are from 25 years. We have more than 2% of gun violence all over the world. Yet still our government has not been able to represent everyone. We imagine elected a month. If I was terrified, yesterday when I saw the mother of two years still like you were elected as the motorcycle murder on the street. Others of that still were sitting looking at me.
Yes.
And there was no arrest go up to the state as we speak. I don't know where we are going, but I think that our former president said it's really for the Mexican American. Thank you so much. We got that.
Thank you. Thank you. Next caller. Caller, you have 1 minute. Make your point.
Hello?
Hello. Hello, caller, your name and where you calling from?
I'm calling from Israel.
Go ahead.
And then we Thank you for the topic and the discussion.
Okay.
But I live in this own community.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about more violence.
Mm-hmm.
For all violence, I didn't talk about it. But the motorcycle, the motorcycle rule, those are robbing the motorcyclist. I'm not thinking. For the guy for me, I don't have mercy on that. Because all who ride my somebody jumped in as we talking equipment and they took that back. And they talking about security, take on that down. Therefore, that down won't really was there. Take on that in the gate, but yeah, Rooster gas station. And that time won't really was there. They have one probably little bit, yeah, take on that gas, starting the block factory. Probably they got the other one in black. They have motorcycle road. And they are in contact with the police people.
Wow.
So what is going to do when they get there? You get that the motorcycle road, they are desperate. They are very, very dangerous in the society. So it's better for me. I don't have no mercy for them.
But the thing is, the thing about mob violence, the first thing, committing a crime. Committing a crime to solve another crime is never the way forward. Killing someone because the person killed another person or because the person did something different is never ever the way forward. That only happens in a society where you don't have law and order. And that is the reason why I'm saying we need more of our police presence on the street. If we are thinking, or if we have evidence that the current police that we have on the street are not good, we can petition our own police headquarters and tell them what the other depot we have here, these people are all criminals, we want them changed. It is your right. You pay your tax, you are a taxpayer, you pay your dollars for that. If you have evidence of a police guy that has maybe corruption issue, there is a professional standard division in the police that you can take that evidence and go and say, we don't want this person. That person will be disrupted. If you think the police is there and they are protecting the criminals, then even if we say the criminals should do this, it would be like banana society. Everybody would just continue doing the wrong thing. And you know that mob violence in more cases can be as a result of mistaken identity. Sometimes the person you think committed that crime that you're beating and killing is not even the person that did it. And that's why we try to get away from. Call out your name and where you calling from. Hello, call out your name and where you calling from.
I'm talking about calling from here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for talking on the discussion. Yes, let's look at what happened yesterday around 7 Yes, it looks so bad, but actually, I think that's the best step for we, the motorcyclists, to get better. Because it's always happening. Those motorcycle rules are very, 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 very dangerous. If they meet you at night, they haven't quarters when they haven't gone. If they tell you to leave a motorcycle, what you will have suffered to buy or you know, be fair. They will kill you and take your motorcycle from you. Just that. So at least if we the motorcycle start doing it, they will feel somehow embarrassed and they will stop doing what they are on.
Okay, so this morning I was coming and another person called on the radio, on one of the radios I was listening to. I think it was this radio. And this person said that in front of his fence, the criminals met a motorcyclist and they shot this person point blank. So is that how we want our republic to be? When the criminal come, you kill the criminal. When a criminal come, this is not how the republic is supposed to be. This is the breakdown of order in the republic. It's not a breakdown of law because the laws are there. It's on the book. It is the breakdown of order. And if you hear me, I keep talking about law enforcement officers. I keep talking about the police. It's because this is their work. That's their duty. That's their responsibility. As you see people call on the radio, they are expressing their grievance, their anger. This is for the police to listen. People are calling, even though they know what is going on is wrong, but they're saying, yes, we will do it because this is what is happening. And we believe that the police is working along with these people. What position does it put you in as a police officer? What position does it put you in? We have innocent lives out there that anyone could take anybody's life now, and the only justification is the person is a motorcycle road. I think we need, our law enforcement people need to beef up the strength. We need to do more in the society. We see every day that talking cannot solve the problem. Call out your name and where you calling from.
Good afternoon. This is Reverend Morris from the Boroughs of Kuta.
Okay, Reverend Morris, make your point.
Thank you so much. And I want to commend you. I think we are almost at the end of the year. I think this is necessary for us to be informed of the laws and the rules and the regulations. But you know what happened is that people are getting frustrated by the day. First of all, as you said, most of those victims of this monk issue I don't do with innocent, which is very much true. Even sometimes these two friends are arguing that I want you to call the other guy roll. Probably does not care.
Yes.
But yes. Two can get into a bitter argument when he try to suppress me, or we're on our way of fighting, he try to muzzle just suppress me. The next thing roll. Probably will just come without asking question. Start to beat on this person if he cares not again. You'll be mocked to death. This is very disheartening. Another issue again, I think government to be more proactive.
Yes.
When the case gets to the court, it needs to be adjudicated speedily. But to our almost surprise, and not just this government, but the past government, also present government, they just play like a identical role to those sensitive issues that have to do with people's life and property. Someone else say you commit him on their friends or whosoever. Follow you, see them on that parading the spirit of Morovia. People are fed up, so let's be honest. People are getting tired because there is no justice all over. The people are being suppressed, no justice. People are being stealing from no justice. People are being mocked. As you said, with camera all over. Cell phone, answering phone, taking pictures, seeing video. But still, those guys are walking on the street of Morovia free of time. Nothing happening to them. But however, we say advice, let that be justice. More justice is not the right thing.
It's never the way forward.
You might love it today, but tomorrow might be the victim of circumstances.
Exactly.
But if you don't encourage it, we don't know. I might be running behind rule, whereby you come on the other side with the same shirt. We'll just tell you, it's you. We have to flog you before we realize that something bad might happen to you.
Yeah.
I'm appealing as we enter a new year. Let's take another direction, my people.
Yeah.
I beg you, let's forget about the more justice, but equally so government must be very more careful. At the end of our issue, and the issue will be adjudicated when the person is guilty. So it be. When the person is not guilty, so let that be justice for all, not for the rich and not for the other people. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you for your point. Thank you so much. We have less than 5 minutes to go. And we have to close this session today. Again, this is a call to all of us. We are all Liberians. Like the last caller just said, today it may be in your favor. You say, because the person is doing this, therefore this is the right thing to do. Tomorrow you might be on the other side where you didn't do anything, but someone just look at you and call you a motorbike road, because this is the biggest thing now in Liberia, one of the biggest things. And as soon as they say, oh, roll, the Messi started motorbomb, the Messi started motorbomb, before you realize it now, everybody coming to you to come hit you with something. You can't defend yourself. People that are standing around cannot defend you to say, oh, no, he didn't do it. This is just an argument between two persons or this and this. Before you realize it, you are dead. Somebody's life is taken. All because why? We are resorting to violence to solve problems. As we go to 2025, please, my people, to the government, we beg you, please be proactive. Kindly be proactive. These are areas that you are direly needed. Some of you out there, you may be people passing in your cars, passing in your big jeeps. You own a lot of things now. But you have a relative out there that's walking by land, that's mingling with other people in the society, laughing and other things. And that person could be mistaken any moment. It could be somebody that you dying in love. And before you realize it, you have lost someone that you really love, all because why? You are in the capacity to effect change today. You are not doing it. So please, as we go to the next year, we need to stop mob violence. We need to stop it. We need to stop domestic violence. Any sort of violence is not called for. Any sort of violence is not called for. And we call on the police. Be proactive. Put in place measures. Go into these high communities. If people are complaining of police officers that are in your system that have problems, change them. Change them. Put other officers in that will bring the community closer. That will create a bond between the community and the police, so that it is easier to be able to deal with criminals. It is sometimes because of our inactiveness and our passive behaviors that would cause people to take the kind of stand that they're taking. And things are going out of hands. We are looking at it now. It might not be like anything to you, but tomorrow, when it gets worse, then you want to knock your chest and say, hey, you know my country, this and that. But you have it now in your hands to solve the problems. Put in place measures to solve the problems. Let's make Liberia a great place. Anywhere you have violence can never be a great country. The call is to order us out there. We have the laws on the books. Of course, you can arrest people today. You can take them, you can carry them to court, you can carry them to jail and everything. Will that curtail the problem? It will serve as deterrence, but it does not mean it's going to curtail the problem. The first line encounter people that we have at the police, these are the people that are supposed to be proactive, and they are supposed to be able to do what they're supposed to do. Let us create the environment. Some of us, we are ready. The day you call upon us and say, please help us in this area, we will definitely give our help. Don't sit and think you know it all. Don't sit and think everything you are the solution temple for it. At the end of the day, because of your big heart, your bigotry, and others that you know you can reach out to help you, and you are not reaching out for people to help you, we will live in a messy society, and this is not what we want. With that being said, thank you so much for listening today to today's program. I hope it's going to have an impact on someone out there as we begin 2023. We begin 2023 with a refreshed mind, with a renewed mind, with a renewed spirit, in the right direction, putting God first, putting our country first, putting ourselves first, and making sure that whatever we do, we understand that it reflects on us, it reflects on our religion, it reflects on the community we're coming from, it reflects on the families that we're coming from. So if you don't want to be seen as a criminal, you're running behind criminal. But if you run behind a criminal and you do something that the law says you should not do, you are a criminal yourself. So with that being said, have a pleasant end of the year, and I wish that next Monday, which will be the beginning of a brand new year, we'll sit here and we'll talk about something good, and we can give testimonies of something great for our country. Thank you, and do have yourself a nice day.